Devguru Jupiter rules long-term policy. This is an unscripted video for this week's Jupiter Crypto Podcast. I just wanted to remind you of two things. Firstly, as you'll know if you have my Bitcoin BTC 2024 predictions book, I see that a strong new upward trend begins for Bitcoin on June 14th. And the reason that I saw that is because Mercury will pass the Sun at the end of Taurus, right as he is entering his sign of Gemini. And at that moment, Moon is going to be transiting on Bitcoin's natal moon and Saturn while trining Jupiter in the sky. Jupiter at that moment will be in Rohini Nakshatra. So what I see is that it's very likely that, so Mercury is messages and news. Sun is very like the most powerful leaders. They can be executives, they can be politicians. So what I see here is that it's very likely that news starts coming in about corporations, companies, deciding to kind of go the way that Michael Saylor did with MicroStrategy, of course not like on that level, or for example, more recently Semler Scientific and some other companies have done that recently, I think in Japan and some other companies, which is that they will decide to implement a Bitcoin reserve strategy. And on a recent episode of a podcast, I also talked about Semler Scientific, which I just mentioned. And I said that as early as June 21st, companies will be following Semler Scientific's suit to implement a Bitcoin reserve strategy. And that's because that's when Sun, again, who is represented by leaders such as CEOs, enters into Ardra Nakshatra. And that's a nakshatra where Bitcoin's natal Venus is located. So, and anyway, I just wanted to remind you so that if you trade, if you scan tickers of companies, that you're very aware of what's happening in the news, starting, I would say, as early as June 14th. So as early as June 14th, if you are a trader, especially, I would say it would probably be wise to keep an eye on what's going on in the news and if there are any companies that are starting to declare Bitcoin reserve strategies. And then, yeah, that's all I wanted to remind you of. It could be quite important to remember. I do, as you know, see a correction happening generally broadly over markets from now until June 14th. But for Bitcoin, also for Ether, I see, as you know, a strong new upward trend starting on June 14th. Again, I said that's for Bitcoin and Ether. And it's very likely that at that same time, as I just mentioned, certain companies and corporations start implementing Bitcoin reserve strategies. So that's all for this week's Jupiter Crypto Podcast.